Hello, my bookish besties, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Adrian, and I like to read a little bit, but yap quite a lot of it, so buckle in. Today, we are going to be discussing our top 10 favorite books of all time, but the updated edition. My very first video over here on my YouTube channel was my top 10 favorite books of all time. It is now officially exactly 1 year later, so I thought we should do an updated version of this list, and actually, the list has changed a lot. My reading taste has evolved a lot. I have just read more in the past year. I've read probably about 120 plus books since I made that list this time last year. So without further ado, let's go ahead and discuss my updated favorite books of all time. In 10th place, we have The Conditions of Will. This is by Jessa Hastings. This book pretty much fundamentally changed me as a person. I have never felt so seen and connected to a book so much in my life. I will say I rated this a 4-star. I'm pretty sure everything else on this is like a 6-star God tier read. This book did have its flaws, okay? But like I said, I have never ever felt so connected to a group of individuals and their story the way I have this book. This is basically about a girl named Georgia who has been estranged from her family for quite a while now, and she has been basically shipped away to England. But one day her father dies, so she goes back home and she has to kind of deal with the repercussions of coming home, what that means for her, what that means for her family, and she has to kind of deal with some of this trauma from her life. This book talks heavily about religious trauma. I did grow up in a very religious family, and I feel like my views kind of align with Georgia's a lot. So yeah, this book, it just, like I said, I just felt so seen. The way Georgia talks, is that even her name? I'm like second guessing myself now. Okay, yeah, it is Georgia, but the way she discusses her beliefs and kind of the way being raised she was affected her, just it hit really close to home for me. So this book gets 10th place, but surely for the fact that I relate to it so much. In 9th place, we have one of our first repeat offenders. This one did go down a spot, though. This was number 8 last year, but this is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. This book is one of the few books in my life that I have reread. It is so good. If you are a gamer at all, I think this book could hit you super deep. Even if you are not a gamer, I think this book could hit you super deep in the feels. Basically, we follow these two characters throughout their whole entire lives as they have a love that's not romantic. They are two friends with a deep love for gaming and a passion for it, and they grow up to become video game developers. But along the way, they meet some new friends, some new loves, some tragedy happens. This book is just absolutely insane. I love it so, so, so much. Once again, it just kind of changed me as a person. It was one of the very, very first books that I read, actually, when I got back into my reading journey, and then even on a reread, it still stuck the same. I am ecstatic for the TV show, or maybe it's going to be a movie. Either way, I'm ecstatic for the adaptation that's coming for this book. I think it is so well done. It is so fun and niche for me, too, because some of the games they use as examples in this book are games that I have loved and played, such as the Persona franchise, so it's just geeky Adrian's dream book. What can I say? Next on this list, and I think the only romance on this list, is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. This is one of my favorite books to recommend to people. It is such an amazing exploration of grief while also being romantic and very heartfelt. Basically, Florence is a ghostwriter for this author, and she doesn't believe in love. However, one day her father passes away, so she has to go home and kind of deal with that. But also the same day, her editor, who has been kind of, giving her problems for not having the book finished yet, shows up on her doorstep, also dead. So love might be dead, but so is he. And yeah, I just love this book. Like I said, it is an amazing, amazing exploration of death. I've actually read this book, I think, 3 times now, and one of those times was shortly after my grandmother passed away, and I just thought that the way this book handles grief is so well done. And like I said, I love recommending it to people because I think most people can relate to grief, and yeah, I love, love, love this book so much. Okay, so the next book on this list might just be recency bias because I did recently read and absolutely love this book and trilogy. That is Clockwork Princess. This is the third book in the Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. This book is one of those books, though, that I feel like individually, I'm not obsessed. But as a trilogy, as a whole, the big picture, amazing. This has one of the best endings I've ever read in a book. I was sobbing, bawling, emotional wreck. It was so good. It was perfect. What can I say? But like I said, I do think that for this specific book, it's more so the general trilogy that's my favorite rather than this specific book. But this book is what pushed that trilogy above the rest, if that even makes sense. But anywho, we'll see if this one makes it onto the list next year, if I even have a list next year. But but anywho, we'll see if this book continues to stay on this list, or like I said, if it's just recency bias, we'll have to wait a little bit and see. But basically, this follows Tessa. She is dropped into the world of the Shadowhunters after not really knowing anything about them while she is trying to find her brother who's gone missing, and it has probably the best love triangle I've ever read in my whole life, and that's coming from a Vampire Diaries stan, okay? Before this, I would have said that the Damon, Stefan, Elena love triangle is like God tier. This one is God tier. I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. Next we have If We Were Villains. This is by M.L. Rio. This is basically if Shakespeare turned you crazy and then you murdered somebody and then 20 years go by and you are recounting the murder and all of the craziness. And yeah, again, this book just fundamentally changed me as a person. I grew up going to a fine arts high school, so this book hit strangely close to home. Luckily, none of my friends were ever murdered for the love of art, but it definitely hit similar vibes to the way I felt growing up, and just, I love this book. In fact, I have a tattoo inspired by two of the books on this list, this being one of them. It's Per Aspera ad Astra. That is one of the quotes from this book. It's in another book featured later, but I love this story. Like I said, it basically follows these classmates who are deeply obsessed with Shakespeare, and everything they do revolves around Shakespeare. The reason I love this book so much, though, is the writing in here is phenomenal. Like I said, some of the way the characters' lives are just felt super close to home for me. I love the quotes and the atmosphere and the vibes, and just, I'm really looking forward to giving this one a reread, hopefully soon. Next, we have Queen of Shadows, and this one was in my second place last year, which is kind of crazy. But again, I feel like sometimes these lists are a little influenced by recency bias, and I haven't read this in like 2 years now, which is crazy. But anywho, this is Queen of Shadows. This is book 4 of the, well, 4, depending on where you read Assassin's Blade. For me, I think this was technically book 5. It's book 4, whatever. It's in the Throne of Glass series if you have not heard of it somehow. This specific book in Throne of Glass, though, is just so good. It is so action-packed. There are scenes in this specific book that I think about literally every single day. I love the characters. I love the development of the characters. I love the action, the plot, the satisfaction. There are some things that happen in this book that you have been waiting for the whole series up to this point, and just, yeah, Queen of Shadows is that girl. I love it. I love it so much. Okay, next we have Fourth Wing. Duh. I just love this book. I love this book. I love this series. Again, this is one of the only books in my life that I've reread multiple times. I think I've read it 3 or 4 times now. I just love it. I love it so much. I love the dragon writing. I love the characters. I love the found family. There are scenes in this series that remind me of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is my all-time favorite comfort TV show. So just like, to me, this is a comfort book read. I love it. There are scenes in here, again, that I think about literally every single day. Specifically in Iron Flame, there are some scenes in Iron Flame that are like exact parallels for some of my favorite scenes in Buffy. So like, that's really fun. But yeah, I do think, though, specifically the first book is just, it's a god tier book for me. I think I could reread this multiple times as a standalone and never get bored. I love the training. I love the dragons. I love the found family. I love everything about it. And yes, I have cried at the ending all 3 times I've read it. Oh well. Next, we have Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I just simply love this story so much. We follow Alex Stern as she infiltrates, well, not even infiltrates. She was asked. She goes to Yale to help be kind of the keeper of these secret societies. She becomes a member of the Lethe House, and they are supposed to kind of, like I said, be the keepers, almost like a policeman, or like if you were ever in the Greek system, kind of like your house mother. Like they are there to watch you and make sure you are doing the right things. So she is one of the members of the Lethe House, making sure that the other secret societies aren't breaking any rules. Like they don't have any crazy hard magic going on. Like, they're just not breaking any of the rules. But naturally, people are breaking rules left and right, and a murder mystery happens. This book just has every single thing that I love. It's got dark fantasy. It's got... what else does it even have? It's got dark academia. It's got kind of like the gothic spooky horror elements to it. It's, like I said, it's academia. It literally takes place in Yale. In fact, my friend and I have this trip planned for later this fall to go visit Yale in celebration of the 3rd and final book of this trilogy coming out. But this one specifically, I just love it so, so much. It is so fun, and it's so dark, but I love it. Like I said, it's just perfect to me. It's got fantasy, it's got ghosts, dark academia. It's just like my perfect book, if we're being honest. And I literally cannot wait to reread this, hopefully soon. And I love every single character in this book. I love Dawes, I love Darlington, I love Alex, I love the policeman whose name I am forgetting. His name isn't in the dust jacket naturally, but anywho, I would highly recommend, but definitely check trigger warnings. Of all the books on this list, I will say this is the most kind of niche and dark read that I enjoy. So if you are someone who doesn't think they can handle dark themes, or kind of like a little bit of a crazier book, definitely do some research on this one of all the ones on this list. Okay, I will be honest, these next 2 are like neck and neck. They are near perfect books in my opinion, but I think in second place we're going to have to go with Words of Radiance. This is book 2 of the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. I have a whole video dedicated to me like deep dive discussing why I think this book is literally flawless. But to recap, basically this is book 2, like I said, of the Stormlight Archive. It is a major epic fantasy novel by Brandon Sanderson. It has some crazy character development, some crazy battle scenes, like genuinely some of the best fighting I've ever read about. And I've read quite a few fantasy books in my life now. But anywho, it's just perfect. It has amazing found family. It has amazing battles, like I said. I can't think of anything wrong with this book other than the fact that it's book 2. You have to read 1,200 pages of another book to get to this one. But that being said, Way of Kings could also be on this list for me. I love the first 2 books in the Stormlight Archive so much that it's almost near impossible for me to figure out which one I enjoy more. That being said, I do think that some of the battle scenes in this one does give it the slight edge over Way of Kings, but yeah. And if you don't know what the Stormlight Archive is about, basically, I'm trying to decide how to even explain it. Basically, there is a war-ridden country that also is surrounded by these storms. And with these storms, they have changed everything, including how you battle, how you use your magic, the plants and the wildlife, and just everything. Everything is being affected by these storms. But like I mentioned, the storms also affect magic, which also affects things like their weapons. And we follow a cast of kind of like these 5-ish main characters as they are all on these quests to try to find the different magic and find answers to different mysteries revolving around their own lives. So we follow Kaladin. He is a slave who just is looking for freedom, but he also is trying to get revenge. We follow Dalinar. He is the kind of war general and the brother to the recently deceased king. We follow Shalon. She is the daughter of kind of like this aristocratic man who is going broke. So she is trying to become a scholar so that she can get some money back for her family, who we follow then Jasna, who is the woman that Shalon is trying to get an apprenticeship with, basically, but she is the niece of Dalinar. So she is kind of powerful and smart, but also a little bit of a heretic. She's got kind of some controversial opinions that kind of keep people away from her a little bit. And then we also follow Seth, son Villano. He is an assassin in white who may or may not be the reason that the king is dead. And then I think the only other kind of main character we follow, at least at this point in the story, is Adolin. He is the son of Dalinar. He is a very, very strong warrior. He is trying to follow in his father's footsteps and, you know, be strong and mighty. And we love them so much. Shalon and I might be the same person. Same person, different font though, because I know who I am in a literal sense, if you catch my drift. I don't have her problems, but I relate to her. Trying to remain spoiler free. But anywho, I love Words of Radiance. I highly, highly recommend. But if you're curious as to when you could possibly get to Words of Radiance, I do have a video here on my channel for my recommended Cosmere reading order. I will link it up in the cards and down below. But anywho, I hope you love Words of Radiance as much as I do. And then last, but definitely not least, the same top book I had last year. This is Golden Sun. This is book 2 of the Red Rising Saga by Pierce Brown. This book is just so good. It has probably the best ending I've ever read in a book. It does not suffer from second book syndrome at all. It has some amazing battles, some really cool dialogue, some cool action. You know, the characters are just freaking amazing. We literally named our dog after one of the characters in this book. But yeah, I love Golden Sun. I think every single person should read Red Rising. And if you're on the fence about whether or not to continue, you should give Golden Sun the chance. It is such an epic space opera like drama. It is so good. Like I said, the ending is phenomenal. After I finished it, I literally just stared at the ceiling for like 4 days straight. I could not comprehend what just happened, but like in the bestest way possible. And I, once again, am just itching to do a reread of this so bad, but I am personally waiting until we get hopefully a Red God announcement soon. I want to reread the whole series in preparation, so if you'd like me to do a vlog of my reread, let me know down in the comments below. But anywho, that is my updated favorite books list. I do think most of them changed, which is just absolutely crazy. I will link the video from last year in the cards and down below once again. Don't judge me though. Like I said, it was my very first video. It is definitely way over edited. I have learned so much about recording, editing, interacting with people here on YouTube, etc. in this past year of being here. Thank you so much for supporting my channel for the past year. I have absolutely loved it, and I'm so thankful for each and every single one of you that watches my videos and comments. Speaking of commenting, let me know down in the comments below, what is your favorite book of all time? Or maybe let me know a couple of your favorite books of all time. But anywho, once again, thank you guys so much for watching today's video and for supporting me for the past year. I love that I get the chance to do this, and I am so thankful every single day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!